Why didn't it go
Now
live?
We are live now
We're
without
live now? Go away,
Yeah.
people. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this edition of the Marketing Happy Hour. I almost said Total Health Live, which is the Friday show. We're talking today about logos, logo a go-go, and do you need a logo to help you stand out from the rest of the business crowd? Because the more and more we're in the digital world, the crowder it gets, and the more difficult it is to gain attention. I'm Dr. Christopher Vogelmann of both Maximize Your Media and Epic Win Agency, which is the co-branding agency that I have with this guy over here, John Paduchak.
That's me. Hi, everybody.
All of you, hello.
Hello.
Hey, what about the guy below? From Simplify.zone.
Hello, everyone. This is Coach Kay from Simplify.zone, helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses and get things done. Implementation.
It's like a hoe. You need an implement. No.
Sure, why not?
No hose for you.
No,
That's what
especially in this season.
especially in this season. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, are there a lot of Iranian? I guess there are not a lot of Iranian Christians. There are some though.
Yeah. Well, I remember that we had a lot when we I lived back there. Most of them are the Armenian Christians.
Ah, so the Eastern Orthodox Church.
I
Probably.
don't know the difference.
Probably. That's okay. That's okay. They cross each other a different way. So it's a whole branding thing. You know. They have
Yeah.
their different logos, you know. So we're going to start this. I hope I can share this today. Let me see if I can do this properly. Put it in there. Oh no, it's going to remove it. Ta-da! This is where you get to see the messiness of my desk. But we can at least start
Behind the curtains.
behind the curtains, behind the kimono. So
Oh, you have to bring up the kimono every time. Sure.
the kimono.
Well,
So-
big in Japan.
I am big in Japan. That is correct. From Traffic Geyser years ago.
Never
It was-
fails.
It was syndication everywhere, and it just happened to be that many of my snow shoveling videos became very popular in Japan. So go figure that one out.
Nice.
Anyway.
What we're talking about, but okay.
It's okay. It was a syndication distribution piece of software created by Mike Koenigs, Koenigs or Koenigs, whatever you want to call it. Potato,
Koenig,
potato.
I think.
Feelings,
Koenigs, Koenigs. You know,
whatever.
it's not Harry Koenig Jr. though.
Or Mike.
So the it just happened to distribute worldwide, and so I would get like Yahoo.jp, Google.jp, and so apparently I was big in Japan. So I
Apparently.
got a lot of likes on my videos and comments, but I couldn't read it because I think it was in kanji, so
Lovely.
I couldn't do it. My mom could do it, but I couldn't do it. Anyway, so back to where we are, which was does a logo help your business to stand out? So we talked about branding and other things like that in our previous episodes, and you want to differentiate yourself from the crowd. And these are some of the slides we had before. So you are your own brand is one of the things that came up. This beard suddenly appeared over the course of the last 3 weeks because I couldn't find my razor, and I didn't want to buy a new electric razor.
Oh.
So I've done a series of videos wearing this, which is interfering with my brand, I do believe. So, so we talked about previously about making subtle logo changes and how your logos will evolve over time. And we're going to go over a few of the things that we've talked about previously and have a deeper discussion. I think, the Coca-Cola one is a real interesting one. What do you think about this one, John?
It is interesting. It's kind of typical. I think you go from black and white to color as time goes on, but it's fascinating to see how the font has changed over time.
The font change. I mean, you're going from 1886
Font
to
color.
the last big change really was 2007. So
Yeah. Yep.
It's one of the most recognizable brands in the world, even though they had so many changes. The
Mhm.
font is kind of the same since 1905. Um,
to some
But-
extent, yeah, I would say so.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's if you don't pay attention, you don't. Except the one that's Coke in 1985, which I remember. Like, what is this? That didn't make sense to me. Anyway, so I'm not saying that we should change our logo this much, but there is something to be said about them paying real attention to their branding and logos, and make adjustments, however small they are. Like, should we change the color of the hue of the red, or get rid of the background? So all of these things, among many other things, has made them one of the most recognizable brands in the world.
Isn't it the brand itself is worth how many billions now? I can't remember what it was, but it was just
Or is it? I
huge.
don't know.
Oh, just the brand. If somebody were to sell the brand without the sodas and everything else like that, it's worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to big business, the numbers are amazing.
Mhm.
I remember reading in one of the Jim Collins's books that the amount of shoplifting from Walmart, if you just take everything that is shoplifted from Walmart and start a company with that company is a Fortune 500 company.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Interesting
Oh,
perspective.
but Walmart's changed their logo too. They've become more and more sophisticated. They've got the blue and the yellow, where I don't have it here with me, but like a little sun type of
Yeah.
logo. And they're trying to compete with Amazon Prime right now. I think what is it? Walmart Plus is their thing. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Because
Delivery.
to your doorstep with an annual fee.
Wow.
I don't. Of course, they're not going to have any movies, I don't think. But who knows? Maybe Walmart will start producing content. So
One never knows.
you never know. So this is one of my favorites of all time. So you already know all this, but all those of you out there, can you guess what this company is today? Blue Ribbon Sports. It was founded in 1964. This is their logo, and you know it today as Nike. So talk about a transition.
That is a
This
transition.
really something. But it's easier to appreciate the transition when you look at this big transition here.
Mm.
So they made the change of the name in 72 and added the swoosh, and the swoosh just continued to evolve over time, being imprisoned by a square in 1985. And at present, it's actually there's two of them at present, which is the plain old swoosh and this one that you see here, the one in the middle. Interestingly enough, you got Michael Jordan down here. That image, I think, is also trademarked.
Yeah.
It's Air Jordan.
Could you go back to the one that showed the transition?
Oh yeah, let's go back to here. Yeah,
it's interesting to me. By the end, they don't even need the words.
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, the very last one here is the logo that you see everywhere on tennis equipment and basketball equipment, shoes, and you see it everywhere. And in the NFL, you'll see the Nike logo unless they change contracts with somebody else. But it's very interesting to see. All you need is the swoosh. So I wonder how they have to enforce the swoosh with their trademark and copyright attorneys.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing that more and more with brands that are more established, where they've now got just the graphic.
Just the graphic. And that was the simplicity. We talked about that earlier when we were talking last time about it was the Starbucks was the one. Where did it go?
Starbucks.
Somewhere around here. Come here. There it is. So you see how the Starbucks changed and simplified over time, and now it doesn't even have any words. It's just the original image modified over time, of course.
I was thinking of Amazon too. We see more and more Amazon packaging with just the Amazon smile.
Well, you said the smile. You call it a smile, but I know so many people who call it the Amazon penis. So that's another story.
Don't get me started.
Anyway,
I don't know about those people. I see a smile.
You see a smile. It depends.
And then that's what the rocket looks like too. So.
Because you're a rocket man. Oh, that's the connect thing. So I'm going to come out of this right now and maneuver around. We're going to dump this We're going to remove that right now. And I'm going to go back and we're going to talk about a few other things. John had, well, we had a discussion earlier today about Michelin, for example. Oh, and Duncan. So let's go to Duncan first. Since you've got
I got
Duncan.
props.
Because the other day,
Like
the other day, John was drinking out of a cup, and I said, "Wait a minute, what is that?" Because I didn't recognize that logo at
It's a new
all,
logo.
and it was the new logo, but new to me. But it was actually established in September of 2018. I had no idea. None
You and me both.
whatsoever. That was just, it was just crazy. So I'm going to show you. Can I do this? I think I can. I think I can.
Do this.
I have to stop sharing one thing and I got to start sharing a different one. It's interesting with StreamYard, it's sometimes a little complex to run this whole thing if you want to show multiple screens.
I even like the little video they did show on the branding change.
Yeah, I'm gonna show that one right now because I think that one is just it's just super cool. Let's see if I can get to that one.
Super cool.
Chrome tab. Welcome to Duncan. Which one was it? The multimedia one, I think. Multimedia Duncan. Yeah, there it is. This is so cool. I just love this thing because America runs on Duncan. So that's it. In the hieroglyphics or the image, if you will, it shows the United States and it shows this. Can you see that?
Duncan. Yep.
Can you see it now? Okay. And then the video just shows the transition. I just.
And it depends on what size cup you get.
Exactly. It depends on exactly what size cup you get.
Funny because I swear I bought a large.
I swear I bought a large. The John Paduchak story.
No,
I swear I bought a large.
Did you look at the transition though? According to the transition, this is a medium.
Oh, the transition was the medium? That's really funny. I mean, it's fascinating to me because just the Duncan thing is, let me share a different one now so you can see from there. I have to remove this. That's really sad that I have to remove it and start a whole new one in there. But we're going to share the screen. I'm going to do a little tabby tab here. This is the type of stuff we should edit out if it ever becomes a podcast. Oh, and by the way, those of you who are watching, and we know you're there because I keep seeing you popping in, please use the hashtag replay when you are watching so that social media gods will sprinkle a little bit of magical digital fairy dust on us.
Yeah. And don't do that in front of other people because I think it means something else besides replay.
I'm not going to do it. There are very few people, since we don't have captions here, it's not likely that we are hosting the hearing impaired. I mean, not terribly likely, but it is always a possibility. So let me get to their media section here, share here. I really wish StreamYard would allow you to show multiple screens and then you can just go from one to the next to the next. But this one is just really interesting to me because it shows, they got rid of the donuts.
Yeah.
It was Dunkin' Donuts, and you can see the cups over here.
Yeah.
So apparently that's the medium, John. You got a medium. I think they cheated.
I wanted a large.
I think they cheated you.
And I didn't realize until we looked at this graphic.
But this is the whole thing. Just call us Duncan. Right? Because the donuts, I don't know why they got rid of the donuts. I guess they just wanted to make sure it's more than just the donuts. It's like Apple Computer. Apple Computer became Apple because they wanted to do more than computers. So anyway, but I just found that to be really fascinating. And there you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
They look like multiple. So you got the season's treatings.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Well, it is the season.
'Tis the season, but without the seasoning.
Without the seasons.
Is there caramel in that, or what is it?
What? In the
Your drink. Oh, you wanted a tea, and they gave you something different.
Oh yeah. I wanted a
matcha
tea. They tried to give me a caramel macchiato.
Macchiato.
I can't have coffee. So it's very sad.
Coffee.
Well, I can kind of have coffee.
You can kind of have it.
Yeah, I got to be
okay. So what I want to do is I want to go to another screen just because we're just going to talk a little bit about, because John and I were talking about the Michelin Man earlier.
It's a fascinating story.
And this one's amazing. I found a video for this one also, which I found to be really interesting. Let's see if I can find the Michelin Man.
I could never figure out why the Michelin Man looked like a marshmallow.
Well,
now I know.
It's the Michelin logo history.
You have to wait.
So you have to wait. You have to wait, but wait, there's more.
Wait for it.
So the Michelin Man. So we all know the Michelin Man here as this tire-looking guy. Okay, he
Yeah.
looks a little bit like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, as well as the giant Stay Puff Marshmallow Man. That's hard to say 3 times fast. From Ghostbusters. But what's interesting is the history of it was that most tires prior to 1912 were white tires. And so if you stack the tires, which was the idea, I guess, what was it? The Lyon Colonial Exposition, this fellow Edouard noticed a stack of tires that looked a lot like an armless man. And then it was another 4 years before they create, and it's called Bibendum or Bibendum. But what's interesting, Bibendum is the character, which we didn't know this at all. So what's his name? Here's all what's his name.
I didn't know he had a name.
He had a name.
You guys, do you know what bonhomme is?
The who?
Bonhomme. It's a French culture snowman.
Oh.
That looks very similar to that.
So here's the evolution. This is from a YouTube video, which I found to be really fascinating here. Let's see if we can get in. Can you hear that beautiful French music? There he is. Check it out.
Looks like the boogeyman from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, or he looks a little bit like a mummy, but he gets friendlier.
He's riding my RV.
He is riding. He's riding an 18-wheeler now.
He gets around. He even made him a seat.
Yeah, they got a seat on top. There he goes. Michelin loves you. It's the Michelin Man mascot. I just found that to be absolutely hilarious. So Bibendum or Bibendum or whatever.
Bibendum.
Not bondage.
No.
No, none of that. None of that stuff goes around here.
And I am a big fan of my Michelin tires, so
I know. So that's where it all started, because John is just a huge Michelin tire fan. So
yeah.
I'm more of a generic kind of guy, but I do like the Michelins. It's just I could never find them at the right price, so I've got to join one of these club memberships like Costco or Sam's or something.
You got to hang out with me. I'll show you how to get good prices on tires.
I have to fly. I'm going to fly to New Hampshire to get tires.
No, you don't do that.
Oh, so what you drinking? Kayvon's drinking something.
Coffee.
Coffee.
I had coffee with Bailey's the other day. That's another brand. I love the brand of Bailey's.
It's an empty cup.
John has an empty. He's drinking air. he's a breatharian today. A breatharian. So I want to go back, Kayvon, to your logo, because it still fascinates me to this day. And you started out as, were you doing websites, or what were you doing technical stuff, right?
Yeah, it was another company which was basically internet programming, so websites and some custom programming, and which evolved into basically online marketing implementation. But yeah, the company was called Periscope at the time, and I still have the name and all of that. No, not Periscope, Periscope.
Oh, I'm thinking Periscope, like a periscope.
No, yeah. Well, that was actually intentional, because the person who came up with the branding, he said, "This is not Periscope, this is Periscope." So it sounds like a familiar word, but not exactly. So it creates intrigue. People say, "Oh, wait a minute, not Periscope? Tell me more." So that was by intention, and also he put a lot of other meanings to it.
So how did you spell that?
Parascope.
Ah, it's not unlike my fundamental, where I took fundamental, took the duh out and stuck you in.
So that's the inside of a periscope, right?
Got it.
So basically focusing on something, and you have a target in mind, and also the analogy of it's only the captain, i.e. the entrepreneur, who can see the target. He's the only one who has the vision. Now he needs everybody's help to communicate that vision, so it becomes a reality. So coming to his help, and the scope is that part of seeing the vision. And para means like paralegal and paramedical, as in on the side, beside
paraplegic.
Yes. Beside you, coming to the aid of. So our company, with our technical things, we would come to your help to implement your vision. So
Ah.
Periscope was basically our whole activities in one word, and that was the logo. The lines were thinner,
Yeah.
but it worked for that time, which was like 2003 or so. So you see an evolution of my logo too, and the font was similar family but different. So I took it similar to the other logos. I made some updates to it. So I went thicker lines, so they're easier to see from in all sizes, and
Mhm.
also gave it the new name of Simplify, and intentionally, like the thickness of the lines, the hairlines is similar to the thickness of the letters. Like, look, if you look at the L and I, they are almost exactly the same thickness. So this determined the size of the font. I wanted everything to be lowercase so that the whole simplifying thing is in it. And then I increased the spacing between the letters to give it more space, more freedom. And also, now your thickness is determining your font size. With that, I also managed to get the two width to go well with each other.
It's funny. I'm seeing a few logos that are sitting here up over John's left shoulder. If I went to some of them that we had, which was like this is the broadcast I mentioned earlier, Total Health Live, but the Max is a small version of what we have for our agency here in California called Maximize Your Media. And then when we created Health Broadcasters, that's a little hard to see. It's actually easier to see in that color there. I had something called Crucial Business with just the C and the B. And then in our effort working together, John and I are using the Epic Win for Epic Win Agency. But Epic Win originally was a gamification software platform that I was actually raising funds for through venture
Right.
capital. But now we're back here in the marketing happy hour. So, which is pretty. So you can repurpose a logo. In fact, there was, I wish I could remember. There was a guy many years ago who named his company. It wasn't Fido, but it was something like Argus or something like that, and it was named after his dog. And he started out as a
Oh, like the
shoe,
Fido?
something similar, but he started out as a shoe company. He was making shoes like Nike or Adidas or Reeboks or so.
Right.
And he changed his business model, kept the logo, but he went from a shoe company to an email service provider. It was very interesting. But because the name was so malleable, it didn't specifically say so and so shoes.
Yeah.
It just used the single name, kind of like you do with Periscope. It
Mhm.
could be repurposed into a different industry, which is very interesting. So,
Yeah, we have a phone provider over here in Canada. It's called Fido,
oh, really?
which everything is about, dog and dog logo and that sort of thing.
There's no dog and pony show at this place?
No ponies, just dogs.
Just dogs.
Yeah.
So, John, what's been your experience with logos? Because I know we talked the other day about using those. I mean, developing the personal brand and you using the caricature, like the cartoon type thing. But did you have something for targeted net solutions, or was that just a word logo?
I did have something for targeted solutions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it is right now, but it's just a targeted. It's just a target, and then a word. The wording with like a target.
It doesn't have a butterfly net coming over the top of the target.
Nothing like that.
No targeted net.
It was pretty generic. It was a pretty generic logo, but nothing fancy. I'll probably.
Well, how do you recommend people stand out? Something that is different than the rest of the crowd, because I see these corporate logos all the time, especially on LinkedIn, where they all look somewhat the same. And if you go to a service, not quite like Fiverr, but some of these other ones, where they basically are just sort of recycling clip art to a great extent with somebody else's name.
I think it could be way too generic. That's way too generic. You definitely want to come up with something. At least when I think of doing a logo, I'm always going through okay, what can I do that's representative of the brand? How can I make it stand out? There's a lot of iterations you do kind of go through, like you were just saying. So you just look at different ways that you can make it stand out, either through color or through the fonts, or I was looking at one of the logos you did at one point, and you said, oh, I think it was financial firms often have, an arrow going to the right or the letter going to the right. And so, I mean, you kind of look at what other people have. You look at things that pertain to what you're thinking of, and it's an evolution.
And clearly, you have to talk about your brand story, the values that you have, and the implied promise of your brand. And when you talk about the sweeping up, that's you're going to make profits as opposed to the plunging. Nobody wants a plunging financial logo.
No, nobody wants that.
Unless you're a short seller, right? Maybe you love that.
Maybe, but even then, I'm not sure.
Even then, I'm not sure. Well, it's interesting. You talk about telephone companies, Kayvon. I remember the Ma Bell, and I think there was Bell Canada, and there was New York Bell, and there were all these telephone companies, and they eventually were broken up. They were all part of the big Bell network, and they changed their branding accordingly too. In New York State, we wound up, instead of New York Telephone, it was 9X, and in the DC, Virginia, the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, it was Bell Atlantic. And Bell Atlantic, I think, got absorbed by 9X and became Verizon. So, and it just goes on and on as companies begin to gobble up other companies. Sometimes they're looking for a new identity. And Verizon had that little check mark logo,
right?
Which is very interesting.
You know what I saw that was really unusual the other day? I because of where I'm located, I have my cell service with T-Mobile, and they recommended, we'll send you one of our little wire, what do they call it?
Wi-Fi hotspots
or network points that you can use.
Oh, okay, like a hotspot, yeah.
Like a hotspot, but it's connected to the internet. It's in your house. But the funny thing is, I'm looking at it as I'm taking it out of the box. It was made by Alcatel-Lucent, which somebody absorbed.
Yeah, no, I remember my mom, as part of her stock portfolio, had a lot of Lucent. She bought low, and then it went really high, and then on the way down, it was tanking. She sold it off, and she was upset that she'd lost money on the unrealized gains. But in reality, she got out just in time because it kept plummeting by another 70%.
Yeah, so I found
when you say Lucent, yeah,
I know, and I found it interesting because Lucent was here for a long period of time. And they also owned a lot of the phone technology because they were the company that built much of it. So
Kayvon, is there Dunkin' Donuts in Canada, or is it all Tim Hortons?
I've seen a few, but mostly Tim Hortons.
Yeah. My niece calls it Timmy Hose, as we said before.
Do you want to see?
Okay. Anyway, back to the.
Did you want to see the evolution of my Soul Focus or Kazoom logos?
Yeah, sure. I would love to see that. I love the evolution of logos.
Okay, well, can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Just have to make a request, I guess, and I can.
Okay.
I'm going to remove.
You just have to share it, and then he's going to stream it.
You share it, and I'll stream it.
Okay. So give me a second.
Okay.
1001.
Share.
That second. That was a long second. That was a long second.
Okay.
Where is it?
Not yet.
It hasn't come. It hasn't come through yet. There it is. Boom. Whoa! Okay. Inception.
Inception. There we go. So Kazoom was this kind of a design first. So if you can see, I was thinking, you want something done? Kazoom it. That was the
Kazoom it. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I was thinking for orange and green.
Yeah,
orange is my favorite color, and
I know that
is the about growth and that sort of thing. But here's in color wheel against orange, you end up with blues, and green is the one beside it. So remember, we were talking what you know already, but not exactly.
Yeah,
it's intrigued. So that was one of the initial versions. I tested different fonts and that sort of thing. So this K is a bit different. Then I had somebody to work on it. So we ended up with a version like this.
Wow. I love that. That's snazzy. Wow.
Yeah, you do.
Well, we'll see which one do you like at the end, because they had many versions of it.
So if I see Kazoom, I want to say Gesundheit. Plus-
There you go.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a-
there we go. Upward. Yeah.
there.
Arrow, we ended up with this kazoom. And
Zoom, and you have the italics for the zoom. I like that too. That
at some point, I
emphasizes
was
it.
thinking about this character called Captain Kazoom
Captain Kazoo is great. I love this.
to help you implement your stuff.
I told you there was a time.
Oh my gosh, the Captain
And
Kazoo.
then I ended up with this version. Let me see if I can bring a bigger one.
I'm going to call you Captain Kazoom from now. Dr. Captain Kazoom.
Right.
Dr. Kazoom K.
So as you can see, it was like a
Yeah.
square with an arrow. Then playing with that, I
It
thought
helps-
I can just imply the smile, what is it, the arrow, and
The
also
arrow.
smile.
Interesting.
And the not a rounded corner, but a square
Square corner. Yeah.
implies reliability and predictability and just kazoom at the bottom.
Stability. Yeah.
So I think we ended up with a version like this at the end. That kind of. So let me see what else I have.
Which one? Just
What's
like
the-
a virgin.
multi-
It's Super K.
Yeah, almost the Captain Kazoom chest logo.
I love that.
Yeah, again, this guy.
Oh my God,
It's,
that's just
design,
great. Well, now,
but-
so he's emphasizing the Z instead of the K. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, the designer was working on different versions of it. This was
Yeah.
one of those 99 designs. So see, they send you a bunch of different
Yeah.
formats.
I like a lot of them actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one company that
Third one.
I played around.
Wow.
with the logo. The other
Wow.
one was before Simplify was called Simplify. I called it the Soul Focus or Soul Focus,
Soul focus.
which was the basically coaching. So I like the Enso and basically that whole Japanese style kind of thing. So
Very
I
nice.
came up with this, which was basically brush strokes.
Mhm.
First, the different parts of your life or different parts of the business are separated, and you're doing all of that. Then you work with
Mhm.
in the coaching, and we align it. Then it becomes four circles. So this had kind of a bottom to top kind of a progress
Mhm.
kind of a thing, and the logo. So I did that. That was the logo of my coaching company for a while. There was this version of it.
So you wouldn't have done SOUL because you're not that kind of guy.
I know. So
Okay.
this was when I said the lines were thinner.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, this was that, and this is the different font it has. So yeah, Soul Focus had.
So
I
which did you settle on in the end?
yeah, this one. This one that
Um,
ended up on my business cards too. So see, this became
there it is.
the business card.
I really like that because you've got the detached coming together into a single line,
Yes.
and then the circle almost reminds me of sort of like a vortex where you're looking down at it and it's continued cycles as you begin to scale.
Mhm.
Yeah, and eventually I ended up with basically using the Periscope logo again,
Right.
and we have Simplified, which if I search for it here, I guess
I think it's great. And then you had a QR code for people to find you, or
yeah, Simplify.
wow, so much. Yeah, it looks like it's like my folders. There's so many versions of things.
Yes. So yeah, this is the current version right now. Simplify.
And the color, I'm curious on the color scheme because I see you were doing the blue and orange in several versions.
Yeah.
Black and orange.
This is my color palette for this brand.
Oh, interesting.
And I have the both the what is it, the square version and also
Mhm.
the elongated version of it.
Oh, I like that mindset, strategy, execution. Do you use that?
It was first this, then I have upgraded that to just
Implementation.
effective execution.
Effective execution.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And nobody ever thinks that you're going to chop people's heads off with
hoping-
great skill.
Oh, you're a contract killer.
A contract killer.
Yeah.
I do have a friend. Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
I have a friend who he was a coach of mine at one point too, and he billed himself as the execution coach,
Oh,
which I thought was interesting. But the
Here we go.
that
So,
type of thing.
that
So
has-
implementation is your big thing now.
yeah.
So simplify. So simplify in order to make it easier to implement.
Yeah,
Would
well,
would that be correct?
yeah, because it brings you clarity and focus, and what's the most important thing to do now. So
Mhm.
the reason that it's effective execution, because the more I talk to other people and some clients, and also designing a program around simplify and
Mhm.
basic implementation, because we call it implementation, but basically it's getting things done. I
Mhm.
have this tagline that I say, done is better than better.
That's funny because I my one of the taglines I'm using is that you need to have fun while you get things done.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's the doing is very interesting because I think many of us have been sort of perpetual students of marketing, and then when we start to implement and actually when the rubber meets the road, whether it's a
Yeah.
white Michelin tire or a black tire,
Yeah.
um, it's
I was
that's
talking about the effective execution. So this
yeah,
getting things done and execution and implementation,
yeah.
which had a lot to do with many of my clients who hired me for just productivity,
Mhm.
either business performance or personal performance. So designing a program around it, I had three main modules, because when we say productivity, people, oh, what happened?
Sorry, that was
Yeah.
a bad move by
The
yours
first
truly.
thing that comes to mind for many people is just efficiency. And I wanted to stop it right there, because
Mhm.
if we are not doing the right things, we get really efficient in doing the wrong things. So doing the right thing first. So for me, productivity is effectiveness first, then efficiency.
Mm.
So doing the right things is effectiveness.
Mhm.
Doing things right is efficiency. Doing the right things right is productivity. So the program was, first module effectiveness, second module execution, and third module efficiency. And you have the triple E, or the book that's coming out. It's extreme effectiveness for entrepreneurs. So a bunch of E and execution and
Are
efficiency.
are
It's
you
all about,
so you're E3 compared to Todd Brown's marketing of the E5 method?
yeah, sure. Yeah, you see, that's even simplified. He has 5 E's, I have 3 E's.
Yeah, I cut him down. Why make
Yeah.
things complicated,
There you go. Simplified it.
Mr.
So that's the
Paduchak?
thinking behind all of those names and brands and taglines and that sort of thing.
Are you are 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 you distracted? Are we boring you? I
No,
can't
no, no,
figure it.
no. I had a message come in. I just had to say quick.
Oh, that was your cat trying to claw at you for more attention.
That can happen too.
That can happen too.
Very
So you're
good.
getting John's getting water on the 24th for Christmas.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a gimbal so I can walk around the beach.
Oh,
And
they got-
Kayvon, do you celebrate New Year's then, or what do you celebrate?
What is a gimbal?
Oh, a gimbal is it's a device which helps to stabilize the image while you're walking around. It will
Oh,
kind of turn and do the things necessary so you don't get a shaky picture.
So it
okay.
doesn't look like this.
Yeah, so my normal videos are like that when I'm walking around. So
Okay, so you're asking the elves for a gimbal?
I'm asking the elves for a gimbal. Yes, not
All right.
from Macy's, not from Macy's or Gimbals, but from I think primarily Amazon.
All
So.
right.
With
I
with
might,
what you refer to as the smile. So.
I didn't have any plans, but I just about half an hour ago I got a call. I might go to San Francisco for 2 weeks.
Whoa!
Wow.
For 2 weeks, you just take off to the
Yeah.
Bay Area.
All I need to work is my laptop, right?
That's true.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wow, that is great.
That is the way to go.
And when it comes to California, the Bay Area has well over like 81% vaccination. So it's the most fully vaccinated part of the entire state of California.
Yeah, or maybe I just become a hermit during the
Just stay in a hotel room the entire time.
or here just cut off all connections.
Yeah,
Just
we were
relax.
thinking of going to Mexico, but it just became problematic. It was too expensive. So
Yeah.
yeah. So John, any final thoughts before we kick off here? We've done about 40 minutes, which I think is pretty darn good. So.
No final thoughts. I think it was fun kind of going through and looking at the evolution of all the different brands. Nike is the one that like, shocks me.
Yeah, so you have
It's
the
a completely different company name.
totally different, which is just amazing to me.
Hmm.
And Kayvon, thank you so much for showing your brand transitions. I think those were really useful for anybody who is a small business person, just to see all the different versions that came out before you settled on things, even in terms of your taglines, how they changed over time.
Yes.
That's great. So next week, I think aren't we talking next week about plans for the new year or something? Kayvon, you mentioned that, I think.
I don't know. Are we having a call next week?
I was
Or-
hoping to. Unless, can you make it from San Francisco or?
I can make it from anywhere, but yeah, I have it in my calendar. We can have our final one.
The final one for
December
2021.
That's
next
right.
week. The
Awesome.
day 363rd day of the year.
You have your calendar entirely numbered, the 363rd
Good
day.
day, yeah.
Well, in Google Calendar, you can have day of the year.
Really?
Add it, so it every day tells me which day it is.
That's something. That's really great. Interesting.
You know,
And that helps you in what way?
it helps me with because if you don't pay attention to time, it just passes by.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
can see
Got
like,
it.
oh, today, it's day 100. The first 100 day of the year is gone. What did I do with my goals?
I didn't
you
do
know,
anything. I better get to work.
I really do like that. This is day 100. This is
No, I know,
day
that's good.
363. I have 48 hours to get champagne.
There you go.
It's like,
Jeez, I was gonna make 100 grand this year. I have 48 hours.
you have 48 hours to make 100 grand.
So if you like to know, today is day 356.
356.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we have 9 days left.
Almost.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Almost 9 days left.
Same,
9 and a half
way
days.
that you add the holiday calendars to your Google Calendar.
Yeah.
You can just add day of the year.
Yeah.
I think that's just great.
That's interesting.
I love that. So anyway, so we are this concludes today's episode of the Marketing Happy Hour. Please tune in next week at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And while you're at it, you can always ask us questions because you'll find us all over social media. And we would love to answer some of your questions live. But I know most of you are doing replay. You're probably Christmas shopping right now. So
Probably.
all right. We'll